Oh, it auto unmuted. That's pretty cool.
Auto went, you mean?
Auto unmuted. Yeah. Chris and I were talking through that entire intro.
Fair enough.
Anyway, welcome back to the Whiskey Gingers podcast. I'm Brandon. That's Chris. And first off, hand up accountability. We're a little late on this. Missed a couple weeks. I think last you guys heard from us was about a month ago. We were just getting back from Jeff's bachelor party, so we'll address step 2 later on in the video. But we wanted to wait so we could do it live, and Chris had a bottle that we've been looking to try. Neither one of us can quite remember whether or not we've had it. I don't think we have. Chris,
definitely not on the show. If we've had it, it hasn't been on the show. And it's been long enough that even if we have had it, the reaction is going to be pretty genuine because I think it's been long enough that I don't remember what it tastes like if we've had it.
Yeah. If I was this good of an actor, I wouldn't be in sales. So I genuinely don't think that we've had this. I never there's a chance that we have, but long and the short of it is this week we are trying pretty cool looking bottle at least. Bibb and Tucker, the Classic 6, aged for 6 years, small batch bourbon whiskey. It's got like a real like prospector's vibe kind of to it.
It kind of does. It looks like it would pair really well with a Coors Banquet.
Yes.
Doesn't it? Like real Rocky Mountain, like kind of deal
like
there.
They were in one of those like rail cars where you pump up and down.
Yeah. So it's got a cool thing on the front. So it's aged in Tennessee, but it says during America's rough and tumble early days, your finest attire was referred to as Bibb and Tucker. So that's where they get the name. Bibb and Tucker bourbon is artfully crafted and patiently aged for 6 years in Tennessee.
And nowadays, bibs are like workwear.
Yeah, or just even in hunting, like hunting
Yeah.
bibs for like going out in the woods.
It's another word for like a little bit of a stepped up overall.
Yeah. Hey, this is clever bottling. So like, you know how like a lot of the times we're looking for flavor notes and stuff. I'm not going to read it to you because I always like to see, like, I already saw it, so I'm biased, but it actually has it on the front of the bottle. That's like really cool. And it's short, sweet, and simple. It's not like list of 20 different things, like a full paragraph. It just like tells you the 2 most popular notes that you're going to find in it, which are awesome. It's a 92 proof, 46% whiskey. We know that it's aged in Tennessee, and that's kind of the main short and sweet of what we know about it.
I appreciate that. I think if I were to have my own distillery, I think I would put the section where that should be, and just somewhere in there the words, none of you can taste this anyway, or something like that, because I do appreciate that they're the most honest that we found so far.
Yeah.
But I think you can take it one step further and just recognize the fact that nobody knows what they're talking. No one can taste it.
These 2 flavors too. Once I tell you what they are later, it's like pretty easy mode to like. It's something we would have guessed anyway.
Okay.
I feel like so that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, look, no time like the present. Let's get into this.
Exactly. I'm gonna start trying to open this sucker up. We apologize for any road noise in the background today. It's not any different than time we normally film, but because it's now approaching summertime, even though with all the rain and colder weather in this area, you wouldn't expect that.
Roads are a little bit more
little busier. Yeah. All right, this is kind of a cool one.
Get in there. Oh, okay.
It's a neat cork, actually.
It does look synthetic, I will say.
I,
They all are.
But
one day,
this is an ongoing conversation piece.
One day, we're going to get a genuine cork, and you're going to hear about it.
They're either all genuine or they're all fake, and we just have no idea what we're talking about.
I know what a real, but you and I both know what a real cork looks like, and they're never that shiny.
I do like it. It's like an inset, like
put the brand on there if you can see it.
Like for this, it's got like a kind of a charred brand on there. Really neat. But what's cool about this is it kind of reminds me of like a pirate bottle in some ways. It's like a message in a bottle kind of deal. I know that every cork insets into it, but with like the flat top, a lot of the corks are bigger or as big as the top of the nozzle on the bottle. This one's smaller. So it kind of really does give that like pirate ship kind of, like like a rum was on there. Yeah, it was kind of neat. So I think with that,
it's got that like the dark bottle helps too with that.
Yeah. Interesting, cool color, kind of like what we're usually expecting. I mean,
it looks dark. I mean, for me, it looks darker than usual, even with the ice.
For ice,
Yours is like a deep amber.
Deep amber. It looks kind of cool.
Good sign.
So let's give it a try and see what it's all about.
I dig it.
So I think it's pretty good.
I'm getting.
Do you remember like that taste from anything? Like, is it jogging any memories for you?
No, I really. Here's the thing: I either didn't have this, or somebody just gave me someone gave me a glass of whiskey and didn't tell me what I was drinking, so I never like made the connection.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've had this.
It's really good. Honestly, it goes down smooth and it's super tasty. Do you have a situation where you would guess what you think the flavors are?
So I always struggle with these. Also, shout out to Ryan for watching. If you enjoy this, Ryan's part of the Patterson Report media team. So he and I will be live on Thursday talking sports. But thanks for supporting our other programming.
Cross promotion.
Yes. If I had to guess, I would say it is like a definitely a little vanilla. And then something like.
The other one you're going to have a hard time getting. But you are right on vanilla.
Well, hold on. This is the best I've ever done so far. So hold on. Let me take one more sip. It's like vanilla and like nutty.
That's really good. So it's vanilla and chestnut.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, like
I don't know what a chestnut tastes like.
I think it's supposed to be like the wood, kind of like a chestnut flavor coming from the wood.
Flavor to it.
But no, it's really, really cool that you got that. But I mean, yeah, a lot of the times one of the things we guess is vanilla.
Yeah.
And I think that is a pretty common flavor in bourbons. But yeah, I think that it's cool that they are like short, sweet, simple, to the point on the bottle. Yeah. It's got 2 notes on here. It says notes of vanilla and chestnut, and that is it.
Yeah, but that makes it realistically like able to get vanilla and chestnut. Like I'm never gonna like taste a whiskey and be like, Chris, you know what? It's chrysanthemum. Like, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I appreciate vanilla and chestnut. That's
for sure.
Straight up the middle. It's also an enjoyable whiskey. Like it walks that line between some of them I say are a little bit too like crisp and watery. This I don't think is that. There's not much burn. I'm not going to say it's one of your more well-bodied bourbons, but there's enough of a flavor. We've definitely had lighter.
It gives you some flavor for sure. Yeah, there's a danger where like they get too light and too watery, and it's almost like what's the point at that point?
Yeah, if that line's here, we're on the other side of it. We're close, but we're on the other side. I would say so.
I like that. I mean, like I go based on the color a lot, and this is like my ideal color in a bourbon. I like it kind of being very ambery, very caramel looking.
Yeah.
Sometimes that makes them too sweet. I think that's Jeff's take, is that a lot of the times when they get super dark, they get really sweet. I don't think he's wrong. He likes the pain.
He likes the burn.
No, I think he just likes a more charcoaly bourbon.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we'll always bust his chops that he's like a real Maker's Mark guy, but like, it's just because it's easy for him to get.
Yeah, Jeff, we were all in mixed company. Somebody offered to buy Makers, and I unknowingly, having just met these people, I was like, put it down, absolutely not. What is your huge deal with Makers? I was like, look, he's not here, but Chris will back me up. No Makers.
It's not worth it.
No,
I know that it's like a decent find for just like picking it up and having it at the house. Like if you have company coming over and people are like, I like whiskey, it's like, all right, you can throw that out there.
And you know nothing about it.
And you know nothing about that. But like to be completely honest, for the price point, you can get so much better stuff at that exact same price. And I just don't think it's worth it. But I mean, I'll tell you what, you can go to the store and get like a giant bottle of Maker's Mark and it'll be on your bar for a long time.
Yeah, if it's something you only get for other people, then I can see it. But also, if you want to get something to keep in your house that's not completely boring, you can listen to this podcast because on numerous occasions, Chris and I will give you our occasion whiskey or just house party keep in the drawer in the cabinet whiskey. So there's really no excuse for going to get Makers. Just watch the pod, pick one of the ones you like, and go buy it.
We're on episode 60 today.
Yeah.
So like, if you went back, we've done at least 60 whiskeys. More because some episodes we've done more than one. Not many, but like we've done at least 60 whiskeys. I would say a vast majority of those are within the $30 to $40 price point.
Yeah, definitely
more of them than not.
Yeah, I would say probably like if you had to break it down, at least 50% fall in that price range, and then the other 50% split between ultra cheap, moderate, and expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
So for all 9 of you watching, this is better than Maker's Mark.
Did you like it?
I thought it was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How much was it?
I don't know. Morgan bought it.
How much was it?
I picked
Oh, you don't know either?
I don't know either.
I thought by how the bottle looks, by the way, not by how much it is.
So they'll
Should we guess first?
Yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's guess first.
So I would say this should fall somewhere between. Well, you want to do Price is Right rules without going over? Or
Sure. Yeah. The price is right.
Okay, so closest without going over, I'm going to say $36.
$39.99.
How much was it, silent producer?
Wait, you said
Closest
I
without
was
going over.
36. Chris was $39.99.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Okay, well I take it back. I like it, but I don't think I like it for $54.
Yeah, this was one of those ones where.
I think it's a great whiskey. It's a great whiskey, but like I don't think I'd pay $54 on.
You think of what we spent $54 on prior.
Yeah, that's it. And we throw the name around all the time, but it's like this is not a Basil Hayden competitor.
And I don't even think we spent $50-something on that.
Sometimes we do. I think it
I don't
depends
think
on if
I
it's on
did.
sale.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to me,
If you're in the $50 price range, I think there's better
Yeah, Basil
ones than this. This is a great whiskey.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it over something else.
No, that's the fun part of the pod is finding out. We found some that outpunch their weight class. We found others that might be a little bit overpriced.
This is very, very, very good, but I don't think that it's
It
the
would be
top
a-
of his weight class.
It would be a great $35 to $40.
Oh yeah, hands down. I'd
Right.
be if I found out it was $35, I'd be buying this a lot more.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're quite in that category.
Another one, there was only 2 bottles, and the other one was like a double chart. It was the same price.
Okay.
But I thought it might be too much for Brandon because I know he doesn't always like some of the stronger.
I don't really like the char either, to be honest.
bourbon
Yeah. This
tastes.
flavor wise, this one was better. There's a double chart option, but I don't think that would have done it any favors in you and I's book.
No, probably not. We probably would have
This
liked
was
it
their
a
best
little
foot
bit less.
forward.
Yeah,
And
no,
it
for
was still an
sure.
enjoyable whiskey. You heard our tone shift before we found out the price. Like the whiskey on its own is good.
Yeah.
It's just Bib and Tucker are asking for a little bit more than they should be. in our opinion.
Usually, this is like I don't want to say it's the opposite reaction that we usually get, but it is an uncommon reaction. Usually we're saying like it's good for the price, but
Yeah.
this one I do agree. It's a great whiskey. I just don't think that I would pay that much all the time for it.
No.
If I caught it on sale, for sure.
Yeah, if I could get it 40 or below at the end.
Yep.
But
Speaking of people that are 40 and below, getting
sure, that's a segue. I guess. The last time we saw you guys, we had Jeff with us because we were kind of debriefing the bachelor party. A big reason we don't have Jeff with us this week is because he is busy getting married in 3 days.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be worthwhile for this episode to go and talk a little bit about wedding do's and don'ts, specifically drinking related, because this is a drinking podcast. So I mean, number one, like the most important thing for me, I think, if you're trying to have a good time at a wedding, and especially at a larger wedding, is I like to hit the bartenders right up front.
Oh, $20.
$20 the
Yeah.
minute you see me.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you. I'm coming to you all night.
Yep.
Here's a 20.
Yep. You got to ask sometimes if they're going to be at that station. Like if
Yeah.
it's a place that has multiple bars or something, you have to ask like, "Hey, are you here in this location all night?" The minute that yes comes out, $20 tip. Remember this face.
And they typically will, because one, if it's an open bar, there are an astonishing amount of people that just don't tip, which
Sure.
is bananas.
Yep.
Or two, they're people that'll do a dollar here, dollar there, or they'll get you at the end of the night. Which I mean, look, as long as you're tipping overall, it's solid. But the bartenders don't know you're going to tip until too late. So if you tip
Yeah.
up front,
Yeah.
then you're already in their good graces the rest of the way.
Well, also like even if you tip 20 singles
Yeah.
throughout the whole night, it leaves way less of an impact on somebody
Than
than
hitting
like
them
a
right up
20
front.
right up front. Yeah.
Because they haven't served you yet. They
Sure.
haven't technically earned that. You're just going, hey, look, man, it's going to be a long night. A lot of people here. Here's a 20.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good
Like you
idea.
said, yeah, the dollar along the way doesn't hit quite the same.
Mhm.
So, if you want to get drunk at a wedding, get good service, and get your drinks quickly, 20 right off the rip, you can't go wrong.
I agree, 100%. Do you have are you a beer at a wedding kind of guy? You go for mixed drinks at a wedding kind of guy? Do you kind of fluctuate back and forth a little bit?
So this is just my theory. You want to treat a wedding like you're a pilot flying an aircraft. All right. So when you get to the wedding, maybe you're probably sober, especially if it's a weekday wedding. So that's going to be your initial ascent. At this point, you're doing your mixed drinks, you're doing the signature cocktails, you're doing your hard liquors. Once you've reached what we're going to call your cruising altitude, which is where you're out on the dance floor, you look like an idiot, but you're not quite becoming a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we're going to switch over to your light beers.
Mm.
We're just going to maintain.
Yep.
And then on your final descent, that's when we're going to mix in a water or two. Maybe grab a Coke if you're tired, just to kind of bring you down easy. That way you can wake up, and if there's a brunch the next day, you're not the person everyone's talking about.
See, the problem I usually have is that descent period doesn't usually go so smoothly for me.
Well, it's hard to do because the wedding cranks up towards the end.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
you gotta be aware of your surroundings.
Where most people are hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
Where we're climbing.
Yeah. So, but you want to say when you want to get your climb out of the way early, or if you know you're a person like Chris, you can invert this and
Maybe you're
delay your ascent.
You're just built different.
Yeah, but you can't ascend twice.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, see, that's what gets you in trouble. Well, let me know if there is an after. All I'm saying is,
After parties are real dangerous because even if you follow your protocol here, the after party is always you got to wind it back up for the after party. So like even if you're in cool down mode, you're certainly going to fare way better than the person that just went hard the entire time.
Yeah.
But you definitely got to crank it back up.
Yeah. Now you can also adjust this if there is an after party. So if you know there's an after party and you're going to it, you don't have to descend at the wedding.
Mm.
You can stay in, with your tray tables down, the meal service is coming around, you got a ginger ale, your seat's back watching a movie. You can stay at cruising altitude through the end of the wedding, and then just use the after party where the crowd drops, the energy level tends to drop a little bit. If you're more comfortable doing your descent there, then you start mixing in some non-alcoholic beverages.
It's always the most degenerate people that go to the after
Exactly.
party, though. So like that's not going to happen.
But that is how you wake up
that is so funny.
Without a throbbing headache or without being afraid to face your family members.
Or maybe just don't drink a bunch of sugary like Mike's Hard Lemonades the whole time or something.
That's a gift.
That would definitely get you pretty good.
But yeah, that's to answer your question. It's all three, but it's a matter of where in your process you are.
What do you think of on the dance? Are you a dance floor kind of guy? Gotta be on the dance floor. I agree.
If you're not on the dance floor, you have no one to blame but yourself as to why that wedding may or may not sell.
I think that everybody should get on the dance floor during a wedding.
Yeah,
100%.
Agree.
Also, when you go on the dance floor, here's a moral dilemma that I sometimes face. It's a great time during that time where you want to be like having a beer, doing whatever.
Yeah.
It's tough to have the beer and be on the dance floor at the same time. There are times I'll forego a drink just to like really let loose for a song or two, and then I'll go get the drink, and then I'll still enjoy the dance floor. But I feel like I can't do the full letting loose on the dance floor with a drink in hand.
Yeah, see, I'm the other way. Like for me, like if I'm out on the dance floor, like we're both white guys here. This is the Whiskey to Gingers podcast.
What gave us away?
Yeah, I need something to do with my hands. So beers.
Yeah. 2 would be good?
2's great. 1's mandatory. 0 is not an option.
Fair enough.
You will not see me on the dance floor without a drink in my hand because I don't know what to do with my hands.
You just don't want to be the person. This is a wedding don't. You don't want to be the person spilling your drink all over the dance floor.
No. If you're going to drink on the dance floor, you got to get a long neck bottle.
And it's got to be
like
drink
at least
half.
A quarter, maybe half. And what I always like to do, especially if you drank a little bit of it, just slap your thumb over the top.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah, just eliminate, because you're right. You don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be the person that's supposed to drink on the floor because then everybody's got to stop dancing. Especially there'll be that person that brings a glass cup on the floor and breaks it on the floor.
That's another reason, and we're back to my theory. That's why you get your mixed drinks out of the way in stage 1. That way in stage 2, when you're dancing, you're onto your beers.
Fair enough. I think that you're on something here.
I've thought a lot about this. I'm thinking about publishing a thesis.
What would it be called? Weddings, do's, and don'ts? But it needs to be a little more specific than that.
The airplane drinking method? I don't know.
Airplane drinking method. Captain Brandon.
Yeah, it's like Denzel in Flight. He was just getting hammered in the cockpit.
Oh my god.
But no, you bring up a good point with the dancing side of things because I think a wedding's a group effort. I mean, I'm worried about playing it with myself. Like the DJ's got to be on, but you also got to help them out a little bit. Like you can't be sitting around watching 8 people dance. Because no matter
Yeah.
how extroverted those 8 people are, eventually you're going to feel the whole wedding looking at you.
Sure.
If the whole dance floor is out there, it encourages everybody to go just a little bit crazier than they otherwise would.
So are you suggesting a cha-cha slide?
No,
get the crowd
I'm
going?
suggesting the opposite of that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I feel like that gets people that usually don't go on the dance floor out because it's so easy. It's like you put the Cotton Eye Joe on, and it's like people that don't normally go out
Yeah.
might, because at least they know something about that dance, or you just go total throwback.
I think you get throwbacks. You got to go with things everybody knows.
Yeah.
That's-
There's like the essential white list
yes.
for
The
for
songs
wedding
you like
songs.
keep going.
I'm actually
If I say
really,
Shannon well enough, you know there's
Yeah.
gonna
I'm
be
so
a lot of
excited to see
oldies.
Shannon and Jeff's playlist for their songs, because even though you have a DJ, you're going to give them a set list,
Yeah.
and they'll kind of just like pick and choose from that, and also maybe add some stuff in that they think is going to work in that favor. But I happen to really like it's two very different music tastes getting put together
And one of
between
them,
the two of them.
one of them is going to get absolutely buried, and it's Jeff. Like, I love Jeff to pieces.
That's
I'm-
an after party playlist.
Yeah, I'm
for
not quite
sure.
sure that Nas is the move here.
I don't know, maybe. I have a feeling he's going to slip one or two good like
He
songs
probably
in there.
will, but
There's going to be a Biggie song in there for sure.
and that's fine. This is another wedding do and don't maybe for like the people getting married is it's not your favorite songs.
Mhm.
You're trying to curate the best party possible.
Mhm.
It's everyone's favorite songs.
Fair
Like,
enough.
If you love this niche underground artist, not the time. 'Cause
Yeah,
everyone's gonna leave the dance floor.
that's pretty fair.
You got to go to Spotify 2010s hits and just let that shit ride.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys radio on a loop.
You will get everybody on the dance floor.
Yeah, it's not a time to show your music taste or this artist that no one's heard of and show them how good they are. It's not that moment. Save that for later.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's pretty funny though. I think that music is. I always say like the big things for a wedding is like good
Oh, yeah.
food, good music, and good people. I mean, you could definitely interchange food and booze
Yeah,
in that, however you want to think about it, or you just combine them. But I think that good music and good people are really big.
I think good music's number one,
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
especially in like a younger, like sub 30 or early 30s wedding.
Yeah,
Like the parents are going to talk about how good the prime rib was or whatever. That's fuel for the rest of us to party later. Like the food is a means to an end.
I do like the food
No,
at
me
a
too.
wedding.
But if you had great food, shit music
Yeah,
versus bad food, great music.
I'd settle for mediocre food and great music.
Okay, that's fair.
But also, it depends. Like, I mean, it really has a lot to do with the people that you bring there too. You can get like the most antisocial group and invite like 100 antisocial people.
And it
There won't be
sucks.
anybody on the dance floor. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna be talking to each other. It's gonna be like crickets the whole time.
Yeah, you like everybody's different and it's everybody's special day and they should treat it the way they want to treat it. For me, I'm looking at this and I want it to be the greatest party that I ever throw. It's not about me. It is about us. But it's also like, it should be like I want people to wake up the next day like hammered. I don't want to like, invite these people who maybe they should go, but they're going to be a complete stick in the mud. Like, sorry, we had tryouts, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
These people are fun. They're
Well, I'm glad we made the list.
fun. Yes, you guys are fun. And I think this whole wedding is going to be people who are fun. So I'm not saying all, but we have 3 or 4. We have like probably 5-ish minutes left. I feel like I've contributed a lot of tips for this thing. You've been around a little bit longer than I have. What wedding tips have you seen?
I've piggybacked off yours, but I mean, I've been to quite a few weddings at this point. I've been in a few weddings at this point. So I've been in 3 weddings as a groomsman in 3 weddings. I'll be a groomsman in your wedding.
Yeah.
So that'll be my 4th one. And I think that there's like a couple tips for dues that I would say is like and also I had my own wedding.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I feel like is hard for people to do is like and this is like goes for the bride and groom, but also the guests of the bride and groom. In the bride and groom's shoes, it's so hard to talk to every single person.
Yeah.
And like you really want to do it because that's what you're there for. So they're gonna try their best to do that. And I really don't have any good advice to like make that happen.
Mhm.
However, on the flip side, do not be the guest at
Yeah.
somebody's wedding that you like lock down the bride and groom
Yeah.
for the entire wedding.
Yeah, you
Because,
got
like,
2 minutes tops.
There's like 100 to 200 people at
Yeah.
weddings most days. You don't want to be the person that's like locking them away from the rest of those people. As good of friends or family or whatever as you are, you definitely want to make sure that those people get to talk to everybody else, because at the end of the day, you are there and then it's over in a blink of an eye, especially the people that are getting married themselves.
Yeah, those
It
are
goes
after-party
so
activities.
fast. Yep.
Um,
If you're going to have a speech, make it short, sweet, and
and
simple.
for the love of God, write it down.
Yep. Yep.
Please, God, write it down.
Don't say it from your heart because you're gonna mess it up,
You
and it's
can't
gonna
do it.
it's gonna be a lot of ums and a lot of
Yes.
pauses, and it's gonna be terrible.
You're not a motivational speaker. You can't do this. Write it down.
I consider myself pretty decent at public speaking, and I wrote mine down, and I still had a tough time getting through mine.
Yeah, I've been to some great ones that were written down, and I've been to some that were just absolute, complete, and total train wrecks that weren't written down. And I've talked to, for me, I talked to the grooms after, and they were like, "Yeah, I was pretty disappointed in what just happened there," because it just sucks the air out of the room.
It really does. It really does. It's tough.
Beyond even that, and this one might be a little bit controversial, so you feel free to disagree with me. I don't think the best man maid of honor speeches are the time to bring up those super inside joke niche memories that you guys have,
Because nobody else knows.
nobody
it.
cares.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
say that enough. No one cares. I was
Yeah.
at one and like, oh, I remember those days in the Jeep. Remember when we did this? And like the bride chuckles uncomfortably and the whole room is silent.
You
Don't
might
do
be
that.
able to get away with like if your whole bridal party was all
Mhm.
close friends and you said something like that and they were like involved, you might be
Yeah.
able to get away with something like that. But I agree with you. If it's a one-on-one thing, you're probably not gonna really
Yeah.
register to people.
If you want to be funny, make it a joke about the person that everybody knows, but no inside jokes in public speaking. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Most of us weren't there.
For sure. I 100% agree with that. That's really funny.
And I don't know. Those are just the speeches are like outside of the ceremony itself, those two speeches are probably the two biggest like eyes up moments. I mean, the first dances, the people have nothing to do with it. You're just sitting there watching. But I don't know. If you do an entire speech and there's no crowd reaction, it gets a little bit uncomfortable in the room. If it's just pure silence.
It's tough. I mean, like, and your ideal best man candidate may not be the best public speaker either. And like, that's the tricky thing. And same thing with like
Yeah.
women, like your maid of honor may not be the best public speaker. So
Yeah.
like, it gets tough. You obviously want them to be in that position, but do you think that it's an acceptable thing? It's almost a standard that a best man and a maid of honor gives a speech. Would you opt if you knew that like your best man, maid of honor wasn't a good speaker? Would you just say, don't feel like you have to do this because it's like really not that important?
I think
Or do you
somebody-
feel like the speech has to be made?
I think the speech has to happen. If I'm really thinking like this is going to be a disaster, and there isn't a monumental gap between my best man and my second in command,
It might be worth like
you can
passing the
hand
torch
that
a little
off.
bit. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Or have them do it together or something. Like give a little bit of support.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I do think like especially if she has a speech and then no one speaks on your behalf. If I'm sitting there, I'm going, wow, the groom's friends hate him,
Hmm.
Like, or either that or they're not that close. So someone's got to say something.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Um,
You could always opt for your dad to come up and speak. It's kind of like, the worst idea ever, but also could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. Your only hope with that one would be for people to assume that it's like, oh, that's sweet that he wanted his dad to say a few words.
Yeah.
But if they don't assume that, you also look like a loser because that also means none of your friends had 5 minutes of material about you.
That's really funny.
So it's like, well, how long ago did you meet if they can't?
Yeah,
give anything?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I agree with that.
I mean, look, overall, weddings are a blast, and this one I'm super excited for. But there are some things that I hope we were able to help out a little bit with that I've been seeing, a little bit of sloppiness from the team.
Keep an eye out for Brandon's new upcoming book,
Yeah, I do think I got something there.
Cruising at
Workshop it.
Altitude.
I'm gonna call Harper Collins after this and see if they're interested.
Cruising at Altitude by
Yeah,
Brandon.
yes, drinking at a cruising altitude.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, keep an ey out of that in bookstores near
Yeah.
you, or in
Amazing.
Goodwills. Most
Or in
likely
Goodwills. Dollar stores.
Dollar stores near you, yard sales. Hey, I'm still getting a piece of that. If they total the yard sale, I get 10%.
Oh, that's really funny. But we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. We apologize it took us so long to get one of these out. We're going to try and be a little bit more consistent. I know we go through our ups and downs, but you guys just got to be patient, hang in there with us. Not something that we do as a full-time job, just a little fun for us to,
And we don't
to
get
enjoy
paid.
it. We don't get paid for this.
If you're talking value, those 8 bottles, we might be $100 into this.
I think we provide a lot of value for people with
I think we're criminally underpaid.
we're
We should go on strike.
exactly.
And
We kinda-
nobody would care.
We kind of do that by accident every now and again. We have a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, and then we cave because we're thirsty.
Exactly. So
All right. Until next time, everybody. I'm Brandon. That's Chris. We're the Whiskey Gingers. We'll see you later.